that speed's hard to defend.
Here's the first-year player out of Fullerton, California, and Taylor Shoemaker. She didn't have much to work with yesterday. They walked her 4 times in game 1.
Just in this NCAA tournament, Tiffany, 9 walks for Taylor Shoemaker, 4 hits in 7 at-bats. 3 of those hits are home runs. Wow. This is a freshman for this team. I think it's easy for us to look at this Florida lineup and dig into the veteranship, right? The leaders, your seniors, your juniors that have put up massive numbers this season for the Gators, but what Taylor Shoemaker has done this year, equally, if not more impressive in her first season.
Popped up in on the hands, and Shoemaker is retired for out number 1. So a good sign if you're Lily Backus to try to take away one of the biggest threats in this Florida lineup. And then you have last year's National Player of the Year, Jocelyn Erickson, coming up to bat also from the left side.
Yeah, already good signs from Lily Backus, getting one of their toughest hitters in Taylor Shoemaker to pop out to second base. I mean, she's aggressive in the strike zone. I think she has to be, just knowing the Achilles heel for this staff is the walks this season. This really late break coming out of the left side. I think that speaks to the aggressiveness there, coming tight in on the hands against big swinger in Jocelyn Erickson. 15 home runs on the year.
The junior out of Phoenix, Arizona. One of the great players in today's college softball game. She can do it all. Terrific behind the dish, Gold Glove winner, and then also her productivity at the plate. Now 3 balls and a strike to Erickson. Kendra Falby over at first, who got aboard with a bunt single to lead things off. And that's ball 4. So 2 aboard, 1 out. And Tim Walton, the leader of this Florida Gator program, 2-time national champions, back-to-back in 14 and 15. And this group trying to make a return trip to the Women's College World Series. He's gone 12 times through his first 19 seasons. So a quick meeting in the circle, as understanding not only playing the perennial power that Florida is, but also the powerful bats throughout this Gator lineup. Reagan Walsh in that company. We saw her get the Gators on the board yesterday in that game with a 3-run shot to hit the roof in left field.
Backus trying to find his strike zone. Already seen a couple of borderline pitches, specifically with that off-speed curve, not getting called. When that low knee-high curveball, off-speed pitch, mid-50s is not getting called, that's going to change the approach for Lily Backus, trying to establish her pitch sequences early. I mean, where do you go against a team like Florida if you cannot get those borderline strikes called?
The 3-0, and that's in for now a strike. 3 balls and a strike. We saw 7 walks given up by this Georgia pitching staff yesterday. The lefty Randy Rowling got the start. And going from the left side again today is Tony Baldwin, and back-to-back walks now loads the bases for the Gators.
We already saw one meeting that Lily Backus asked for herself after that very borderline call against Jocelyn Erickson. Then is again trying to settle into this strike zone. a team and a pitching staff that has already been challenged with free bases this year, being squeezed right now on the corners. Home plate umpire Aaron Peterson behind the plate. Chelsea Wilkinson having a word with Lily Backus, pitching coach here at Georgia. Pitched at Georgia from 2013 to 2016. That was back during my days, Tiff.
And actually had to come through Gainesville in 2016 in that super regional to take down the Gators. Well, prior to yesterday, it was the Bulldogs who had swept Florida here in Gainesville in 2016 and 2021. Now bases loaded here for Mia Williams. First pitch swinging. And a strike to Williams, the sophomore out of Windermere, Florida. Second team All-SEC selection.
Massive swings from Mia Williams. I think it's an interesting choice there, too, from Williams, seeing two walks in front of her, and instead of maybe taking till you see something in the zone, two massive hacks early. There's the off-speed pitch low. Backus still trying to locate that pitch.
She's working ahead in the count here. 1-2, big moment early on in this game. And Williams strikes out. So second out of the inning, and Lily Backus gets the much-needed strikeout here with the bases loaded.
Yeah, this is the off-speed pitch. She goes back to it, pulls the string, downspin, falls out of the back half of this strike zone. This is a huge out. If Georgia is able to dig their way out of this bases loaded jam, what a momentum shift. I go back to Tiffany, the two early swings from Mia Williams. She just saw Jocelyn Erickson and Reagan Walsh get walked. If it were me, I'd be conservative at the plate. I'm going to force her to come back into the strike zone.
Now Ava Brown takes a look at the strike inside. Brown, the sophomore out of Montgomery, Texas, hit it to the deepest part of the park yesterday for a 2-run shot for her 11th home run. Now she's got the bases loaded. Swings through that one, now 1-2. And remember, from game one, Florida had a lot of different opportunities to push across runs. Ava Brown has taken advantage of the long ball in the last 11 games. But again, Backus with huge back-to-back strikeouts to get out of the jam.
Off speed. Unbelievably effective late in this inning. Loads the bases with 2 walks and gets the punch out to close out.
Brought to you by Capital One, and you highlight Emily Digby because of her play over the last 4 games.
Red hot, specifically in the meat of this order for Georgia. 583, 7 hits and 12 at bats. She has just been seeing it so well.
And first pitch in there for a strike to Dallas Goodnight. Goodnight, the senior out of Dacula, Georgia. Second straight season as an All-SEC selection. And Rothrock, we saw her start off the game and really keep that trend throughout with those first pitch strikes. Successful here. All ready for Rothrock out of Whiteland, Indiana. Looking at the scouting report on Keegan Rothrock, she brings what?
And you're going to see her spin the ball up in the zone. She's known for the rise ball on 2 different levels.
And it's giving chase to that. Corby Otis in left field to retire Goodnight. So she likes to throw that rise up in the zone, to your point. But what else has she done to add to that arsenal?
I think what we saw her do well yesterday was challenge at the knees, specifically on the inside part of the strike zone against Georgia, mixing eye levels. We saw her flash the off-speed pitch a few times, but honestly, it wasn't needed because the rise and the screw were so effective.
Lindy Ray Davis at the plate, the designated player in the lineup. Long committed to Georgia, a Bulldog through and through. Her third straight super regional in a Bulldog uniform, 14th overall for the program. 1-2 now to Davis.
That was the off-speed pitch, just hit the knees, falls off the back half of that strike zone. Lindy Ray Davis giving chase, almost pulls out the front side entirely on that swing.
It's a piece of that one, fouls it off and stays alive.
This is a lifer for the Bulldogs. Lindy Ray Davis recruited early into her 8th grade year before the NCAA rules had changed, applying to the recruiting as a junior, and has stayed through Georgia through all the change, COVID, roster changes, stadium updates. I mean, this is a graduate senior that is as loyal as they come.
Staying alive here, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The lefty awaits the pitch and drives this one into right field. She got a hold of that one. It's not coming back. Bulldogs on the board first. The solo shot from Lindy Ray Davis. Her 4th home run of the season.
And her 2nd of the NCAA tournament. Rothrock goes back to the late break, right at the knees, and Lindy Ray Davis makes the adjustment. She does not dump out on the front side. She keeps the weight back and gets absolutely all of that ball.
And here the question is, what type of adjustments do you anticipate the Bulldogs batters will make, having seen Rothrock yesterday?
Yeah, faced her all 7 innings. Rothrock threw 119 pitches yesterday. I think that was the question for me, is just the recovery. This is a young woman that's battled injury early this year.
Lined out off the bat of Tyler Ellison, and 2 down. And Tony Baldwin trying to make it to the Women's College World Series for the first time as a head coach. Has 3 previous trips as an assistant under former head coach Lou Harris-Champer. And Baldwin, who was very upfront with us, saying, hey, we don't have much to lose. There's no pressure, rather, I should say, on this group. They just got to go out there and play. They've been resilient all season long, and called them the Cinderella Dogs, coming in an unseeded team in the NCAA tournament and battling it out here in the super regional round. An SEC versus SEC matchup. Did not meet in the regular season or the SEC tournament. And you see Rothrock shaking off a couple of pitches, and Erickson pops out of her stance and comes in to talk with Rothrock.
We mentioned the injuries early this year, missed the good portion of March, and per Tim Walton, he felt like in February when this season started, she was of the best he has seen, and had to take a little bit of a hiccup early this season, repair a leg injury, get back to full expression. And even talking to Rothrock, she said, I honestly needed that moment in March. It made me appreciate my time in the circle. Not even being able to pick up a softball in March was devastating to me. It really put this game in perspective.
Jaden Goodwin battling away here, the junior out of Paris, Kentucky. Spitfire brings that great energy to this Bulldog team. The pitch inside for ball 1. go back to last weekend. It was Jaden Goodwin, a.k.a. Shorty, who had the first pitch go-ahead home run, top 8 in that Game 7 against Duke, which proved to be the game-winning run. And Brian Crochet over at third base saying Goodwin did not commit and go around there. So now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Aaron Peterson behind the plate, Steve Gold, and Joe Havenhill, our officiating crew. And a diving stop and a roller over to first base. And they're going to say Goodwin is safe. Great effort there, though, by Mia Williams to try to get Goodwin out.
Wow. I mean, that was all Mia Williams could do. A diving body at second base, had to make this little squibbler throw to first to even give herself a chance. Now we're not going to see a replay from Florida. I mean, we're early in this ballgame too, Tiffany. Both of these teams only getting 2 chances apiece at going to the replay.
1-0 to Sarah Gordon, who takes it in for strike 1. Gordon, who really had a great offseason, bounced back from a disappointing year last year, came back better than ever in her junior season. And her numbers, .339 average on the year. Tony Baldwin talked about the earned confidence from this young lady as the hot shot to third base, and Kinley Cahalan was right there, but not before the Georgia Bulldogs get on the board. 1-0 after 1. Flowers Saturday in Gainesville, home of the 2-time national champion Florida Gators, taking on Georgia in this second game of Super Regionals. The Gators 1 win away from punching a ticket to Oklahoma City, but it's the Bulldogs with a 1-0 lead after that solo home run in the bottom half of the first off the bat of Lindy Ray Davis. 2-time national champion out of Oklahoma, Aaron Miller, Tiffany Green here with you. And a great opportunity last inning we saw from the Gators. Had a bases loaded situation. Lily Backus getting out of the jam. And if you go back to yesterday, the Gators had their opportunities. They left 9 on base in game 1. As Corby Otis lines this one sharp and foul.
Yeah, it's not that the opportunities weren't there. I mean, you hear this all the time. This is a game of momentum, a game of timely hitting, and a game of efficient pitching. And I think in 2 of those areas, the pitching and the timely hitting, we just did not see Georgia come with those 2 cylinders of their game. But there were times where momentum felt like it was in their orbit, in their dugout. A team that has battled all year long, especially through SEC play. And talking to head coach Tony Baldwin, he said, I can't even count how many times it came down to 1 pitch, 1 out, 1 swing. In fact, 6 series throughout the year where they had a chance in game 3 to win the weekend, and they went 0 for 6.
Tough sledding throughout the SEC. Corby Otis, the senior out of Littleton, Colorado. First team All-American a season ago. Remember, she led the nation in walks last year with 59. And as we came on the broadcast, we talked about walks being the Achilles heel of this Georgia staff all season long. We saw 7 yesterday. A couple given up by Backus yesterday, or already in this game rather, but she was able to handle business as Otis does the same into the gap, and Corby Otis starts off with the leadoff stand-up double. But this is what we're talking about. Last inning, bases loaded situation, gave up a couple of walks, but then also Lily Backus coming up with back-to-back strikeouts to get out of the jam.
Such a big response from this lefty. The fact that she was worked into quite a jam. Bases loaded, had less than 2 outs, and found a way to get herself out of it. Mind you, a tough strike zone that she was trying to pitch through. Tight on the corners, a lot of the off-speed curveballs that were not landing in her favor.
She gave a leadoff bunt single to Kendra Falby back in the first. Now Otis aboard with a double in scoring position for Kinley Cahalan.
That was Corby Otis's 3rd hit this postseason. A little bit under her numbers for the year, but finding her way in the 7-hole.
And another good hit. This one sliced in the left field, and Cahalan is retired. This Georgia team fighting for their season to stay alive. They've got to win today to try to push to a Game 3 tomorrow. When you look at the percentages, 80% of the time, the winners of Game 1 move on to the Women's College World Series. They're hoping to be in that 20% here.
But if you look at the history between these two teams, overall head-to-head, Florida has the advantage. But on the postseason stage, a little bit different story. Overall, Georgia 5-2 against Florida in the NCAA tournament. Was 4-0 in Super Regionals against Florida until yesterday, dropping their first game on this stage against this team.
And the resiliency of this team and the familiarity between these two teams creates all the more drama as Riley Holtorf fouls that one back, transferred over from Washington in the offseason, and has immediately inserted herself into this Gator lineup. Shortstop looks for the pitch. Goes up, chases, and the 3rd strikeout for Lily Backus.
I will tell you, the 3 strikeouts that Lily Backus has had, it has been decisive swings from Florida. There have not been a second guess or a check swing from the Gators. I mean, it is big commitment at the plate, and she is getting just under those barrels. Really great movement from this lefty.
Back to the top of the order, Kendra Falby, first pitch swinging, hits Backus, and then Mua Williams can't make a play. And so the Gators chirping here. But that single from Falby, runners at the corners now with 2 outs, and another opportunity for the Gators. Can they capitalize here?
You know, Kendra was 1 for 4 yesterday with a double in the 5th, and already now 2 for 2 here in Game 2 and applying pressure on the infield.
And Taylor Shoemaker over to Castori at first, and that ends the inning. A couple of more left on base, but once again, Lily Backus rising to the occasion of the 6 runs. As this one launched off the bat of Emily Digby. They said, okay, we can flex our power too, say the Georgia Bulldogs. Another solo bomb. 2-0 Georgia.
Emily Digby has been the hottest bat, unquestionably, for Georgia. 583 average during NCAA play. This is her first home run, though. Flexing a little bit of power here. That's her 8th hit in 13 at-bats.
And that's going to be a short morning for Keegan Rothrock as the Gators are making a change in the circle. We'll tell you more about
it. Change And already challenging quickly under the hands is Olivia Miller.
Cahalan taking care of Miller. But what does Olivia Miller bring in the circle? Yes, you've got it coming from the left side. Is there a change in speed or look outside of which way she comes from?
I think it's the fact that there's a curveball on both sides of the plate. You're going to see her stay low in this zone. Less of that up movement than you see from Rothrock, who spins the ball up in the eyes. More than anything, I think, Tiffany, it's the fact that Georgia has seen or had seen Rothrock for over 8 innings. 130 plus pitches. No matter how good you are, you become better at the plate when you face an arm that many times.
Emma Castori, the first baseman, back at the plate. The sophomore getting her first full season in the starting position. This one hits Castori, and she takes first base. Well, the Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. The action begins Thursday, May 29th at noon Eastern, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2025 Women's College World Series, go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Well, starting off next week, the winner of this one would face the winner of Austin, either the Longhorns, who evened up the series in extras against Clemson last night. Well, after one of her best performances, she says that she's felt all season long. Lasted 1 inning, gave up the 2 runs here that you see on the scoreboard, and like you said, Aaron, using better than 130 plus pitches.
We see her standing in front of the fan. I mean, we're over 90 degrees here, folks. It is hot. It is humid. The sun is out. There is not a cloud in the sky. I mean, this does take a little bit of mental and physical fortitude, especially if you're in the circle, throwing as much as Keegan Rothrock has through now 2 appearances.
As we know, it's not just the heat, it's the humidity.
Thick air.
That adds that extra layer.
It is a different level of heat.
As the song says, where them fans at? Mua Williams popping it up in shallow right. Mia Williams collects it, and 2 down.
Center fielder, Dallas Goodnight.
So Castori at first after the hit by pitch, and back to the top of the order with Dallas Goodnight, who flied out to left for first time up.
So much speed from this young woman, 30 stolen bases on the year. I loved getting a chance to chat with Dallas Goodnight coming into this weekend. Her work ethic, her demeanor. She describes herself as a gym rat, loves to get a good lower body lift in. I mean, you can just see her build. She's an athlete. Came into this program at a top speed of 18 miles an hour and hit her program best last week at 21 miles an hour.
You guys had a great conversation just about workouts and said, okay, you like that lower body? She was like, I want to go all throughout. I like total body. Yeah. On the 1-2 pitch, Goodnight grounds to second, gets out of the inning. Runner left on base, but another hit put up as Georgia scores another run. They're up 2-0.
Their team captain, a graduate senior, threw a heck of a game. The diving catch she made yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
We were grabbing lunch and watching some South Carolina scrap. Man, they got after it yesterday against UCLA.
Jocelyn Erickson, who was in OKC last year with these Gators, trying to help her squad return, seeking their 13th Women's College World Series overall in the program and vying for the 3rd appearance in the last 4 seasons. We talked about the big swings that we've seen from Florida already in this game. I'll tell you, a player who's had to be patient at the plate throughout is Jocelyn Erickson, trying to get something yummy for her to hit, because they've been staying away from her.
Well, the scout's out. Yeah, I mean, she had a heck of a year last year as a sophomore and now as a junior. A little bit more walks on the season than she's used to, and we talked to her about that patience, what it's taken for her to stay consistent in her numbers, but also have a little bit more patience at the plate, has applied some new tools in the tool belt this year. She said, I've been journaling more, I'm breathing more on the field. I am trying to work the muscle of patience.
And the strikeout there, the throw to first. And I'll tell you this, a strikeout pitcher that we know who's already punched her ticket to the Women's College World Series, Nyjari Kennedy, in her first season at Texas Tech, and where she was outstanding against the Noles for the first and last 2 games for Texas Tech in the Supers, and that's the star power that she brings. She's a National Player of the Year, top 3 finalist, trying to repeat this season.
$1 million arm.
I knew you were going to bring that in. $1 million baby.
How can you not? I mean, what she is doing for the sport of softball, it is moving the needle, and she's now going to take her team to the Women's College World Series.
I even saw something on social that Patrick Mahomes was at a shoot, and he could not put down his phone because he wanted to see
that was pretty cool,
what the outcome of that game was going to be yesterday.
One of the greats recognizing another great in our sport.
Well, game 3 of the Western Conference Finals between SGA and the Thunder, Ant-Man and the Timberwolves. That's tonight at 8:30 Eastern on ABC. ESPN News will continue their Insight cast as well with avatar shot charts and visual 3D replays, all the cool stuff. Countdown crew tips off with the coverage at 8 o'clock. Gilgeous Alexander averaging nearly 35 points per game in the Western Conference Finals thus far. So after that walk to Reagan Walsh, Mia Williams back up to the plate.
Already a decisive swing up in the zone. This is a scary bat, 19 home runs on the year. And this is where Georgia got into some hot water yesterday, giving up free bases, and then you've got a bat like Mia Williams stepping in. We saw Reagan Walsh do some damage with ducks on the pond yesterday, the 3-run shot. Beautiful off-speed pitch to collect strike 2. That was one thing I did not see a lot of yesterday from Georgia, was mixing speeds. You have to be able to effectively mix speeds against a power team. Backus has done a good job of that today. She's thrown the changeup, she's thrown the off-speed curve. Again, in being challenged early in this game with the strike zone, I think she has been relentless in going back to that pitch to find it settle into the strike zone.
And that was really close, and I'll tell you, Marissa Miller was trying to paint it behind the plate. Let's take another look at that pitch.
This has been a frustrating pitch for Backus. I don't know where this misses. It is over the wide of the plate, if anything, maybe low.
Full count, and she still gets Williams. 5th strikeout so far for Lily Backus.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Mia Williams. You know, talking to Tony Baldwin, he said, if we are going to go the distance this year, it is going to come down to the arm of Lily Backus. She has locked in a new way during this NCAA tournament. I mean, we saw her early this year, Tiffany, face Ole Miss, and she struggled in the circle. Specifically that game, first one in the 3-game series. Between those two teams, we saw 22 walks. 12 of those coming out of the hand of the two lefties for Georgia. I mean, she has really figured it out late in the season.
And it was really since that series that we've seen the arms improve. So she picks up a win last weekend in the complete game effort over Coastal Carolina. 5 shutout innings against Kentucky in that win over the Wildcats in the opening round of the SEC tournament. And Backus, who has limited the Gators to just 3 hits so far in this one. And I loved the conversation from Backus because she and her teammates really talked about, regardless of the outcomes, they felt like they have been successful internally. They've had a resilience all season long.
Yeah, she was really honest with us about that. She goes, look, I get it. The outside looking in, you look at the wins and losses, you may chalk it up as an unsuccessful year for Georgia softball. We don't feel that way.
And I'll tell you right now, Lily Backus is feeling it in the circle. Half a dozen Ks for the lefty.
The lefty in control. What a change, an adjustment in the circle late in this year. It's going to come down to the leadership of this lefty.
In hopes of this team coming out of Gainesville, not only with a win today, but perhaps in this super regional round. Georgia already made 5 Women's College World Series appearances, the last in 2021. Fouls it off. Remember Lindy Ray Davis had that game-tying run that she was able to drive in, force extras against Duke in that decisive Game 7 in Durham last weekend. To push that game to extras where Georgia was able to walk out with a 5-2 victory. This group who started off the year their best starts in program history. Finished up hosting the SEC tournament earlier this month, where we saw both Oklahoma and Texas A&M be named co-champions of the SEC tournament. Didn't get to play that final day due to weather.
You mentioned hosting at Georgia. I mean, they got a brand new $38.5 million facility, 20,000 square feet at Jack Turner Stadium. It was unveiled back in November of 2024. We took a tour of that thing, Tiff, and my goodness, those are some digs.
Impressive indeed. I mean, you think about it, wasn't that long ago, what was it, a couple years ago that Florida hosted it here? They too made some really nice upgrades here to Katie Seashore Presley Stadium as Lindy Ray Davis aboard with the leadoff walk. And again, the winner of this one, just to remind you, will go on to face either Clemson, 11 seed, or the 6 seed Texas Longhorns. We mentioned this group out of Austin going into extra innings to walk away with the victory and push a big Game 3 tonight right here on ESPN at 9 Eastern, or roughly around that time. Tegan Kavan and company hoping to get it done. But Clemson with their first ever super regional win back on Thursday for the young 6-year program. There's a pinch runner in there for Georgia, Precious Bross, standing over at first now. Here's Tyler Ellison.
Yeah, that was a Clemson team per John Rittman, that struggled early in the year, took some tough punches and said, look, we're not great right now, but give us about 20 games, 30 games, we'll settle in just fine. And they have. The postseason run they've put together, very impressive. Took game 1 against Texas. Texas pushing it now to game 3.
Off the end of the bat from Ellison, and the sure play from Williams over to first, and 1 down.
Postseason's a heck of a drug,
oh.
right? I mean, what some of these teams, a lot of these teams this season have done, I mean, punching out the #1 seed overall, first time in NCAA history. Liberty now battling for their life against Oregon. Got an unseeded Georgia team right here in Gainesville.
One of 4 unseeded teams remaining in the tournament. How about Ole Miss picking up that win over Arkansas yesterday? Jamie Traxel has her group playing well. Percy Yamas, Lexi Brady, Jaden Pone. I mean, these are names that you're going to continue to get to know. Yes, you know about your Jordy Balls and your Nigeri Kennedys, your Jocelyn Ericksons.
I think of the Benfords, too, that transfer over to Ole Miss. She's in her last season, fighting to punch a ticket to the women's I mean, you live for that moment. We spoke in depth to Tim Walton about that look, I get it. The transfer portal is a controversial topic, but it's a game we have to play. And there are reasons, there can be right reasons for a young woman to make a change. And I think about Aaliyah Benford. Makes her way in her last season over to Ole Miss and looking like a pretty sweet decision right now, a good fit.
Well, Jaden Goodwin, who has a runner in scoring position, 2 balls, 2 strikes, awaits the pitch from Miller and drives it into right field. Solid base hit. They're going to bring around Bloss. The play at the plate. The throw is in time. Ladies and gentlemen, the bright star of Taylor Shoemaker. One of the best young players in our game, and she put that on full display right here.
This is a textbook relay. And there's so many parts of this that I love. One of those being the tag from Jocelyn Erickson, a lefty catcher. I mean, she turns 180 degrees, pulls her eyes off the runner to tag out behind her body. As an outfielder to myself, you live for those relay moments. A great throw, too, from Mia Williams, quick out of the hand at second base.
It's boom, boom, Shoemaker, Williams to Erickson right there, 9-4-2.
I mean, Jocelyn Erickson has to position her body not only to be and give up away for that runner, because we've all seen the obstruction call.
Off the hop, Kinley Cahalan. More great defense from the Gators. Flashing leather all over the field. Elimination right here. Can you speak to just the resolve of this group that you've seen?
Yeah, you know, we've gone through a full season of the SEC where every weekend's a grind, and you know, we've taken our lumps, and you know, I said at the beginning of the season you can lose some games in the SEC and still be one of the top teams, and we feel that about ourselves, and you know, we're just happy to be playing today and competing and get a chance to fight like heck to get a day tomorrow.
Coach, earlier this season you said if this team's going to go the distance, we got to have Lily Backus stepping up in the circle. There's ice in the veins right now. What's been able to give her the edge today?
Well, it's not just Lily, but you know, certainly she's a big part of what we do and who we are, and you know, I think she's being really competitive and being really resilient, you know, and you know, trying to keep their hitters off balance. We got a long way to go, and we just got to keep competing.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Yep, thank you. Go on.
Well, the numbers on Lily Backus thus far, only giving up 3 hits over 3 innings. Half a dozen strikeouts, cut that number in half for walks. And just to the point that you were making, yes, she's helping to set the tone in the circle, and she's getting the necessary backup from her teammates.
Yeah, it's been a staff approach all year long. But right now, it feels like Lily Backus is locked in a completely different way. Already 6 strikeouts through 3 innings. The off-speed has silenced a lot of Gator hitters. This is a powerful team offensively for Florida.
Otis was able to get one of the 3 hits off of Backus in this game. And Otis, a player who's just brought such great work ethic and preparedness to her time here since joining the program after spending first part of her career at Louisville. Named the SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year, graduated with a biology degree this month. Wants to go on and be a cardiothoracic surgeon in the future. Tim Walton says, hey, look, wow, she's got to be the brightest player that I've coached on a softball field.
And described by her teammates just as a baller. Just watching her play this sport. I think about that walk-off home run against Arkansas right after Tim Walton was tossed.
And punches it through the 5-6 hold, and she gets aboard with a leadoff single. Well, not only is she a fantastic softball player, but an amazing student as well. I mean, she's had internships at UF Shands Hospital, got behind the scenes of cardiovascular surgery, really getting a first-hand look on open heart surgeries. And this one, slice could drop in left field, but the diving effort, not enough from Jaden Goodwin. And that momentum starting to fuel the Gators here. Back-to-back base hits.
It feels like something's brewing. This is not power or flashy right now from Florida. It's fundamental softball. A leadoff Corby Otis punch through the infield. This one just finding no man's land off the bat of Cahalan. And Cahalan has struggled a bit at the plate this NCAA tournament. Trying to find the green, only 1 hit through 5 games. That being her second, and man, it is needed here. 2 on and no outs for Holtorf.
So the 9-hole hitter who struck out her first time up against Backus. They're going to try to sacrifice the runners over, and if you've watched Florida or you're just tuning in, they had the bases loaded back in the first. They left 2 on in the second in 1 last inning, and Tim Walton wants to see this crew punch through a run on the scoreboard and more, but that popped up into the glove of Mua Williams, and Holtorf is retired, and the runners stay put.
This just can't happen. I mean, this is a cardinal sin of our game. You have to be able to execute sacrifice bunts in any stage, but especially this stage. You're down 2 runs. You've got to find a way to move over base runners. And for Holtorf, the call was simple. Get the ball down on the ground, and unsuccessful there, a pop out. Man, that just sucks the wind right out of the sails.
So Tim Walton gathering his players and having a conversation. It's Kendra Falby due up now, Shoemaker on deck, and Erickson in the hole. And again, can they capitalize on these opportunities with runners on? You saw JT D'Amico and Chelsea Wilkinson come out to the circle in the infield for Georgia. So everybody's had their conversations. Kendra Falby stands in 2 for 2 today with a couple of singles.
been a day for Kinder Falby. This is the part of the order, too, that's really challenged Lily Backus. 2 for 2 day for this leadoff, 35 stolen bases on the year. Been a leader for this team. Man, what a season she has had in her senior campaign. 433 average, couple home runs, 9 doubles on the year. I mean, this is a triple threat at the top of this order. Speed, pop, short game.
Over to Digby at short, so she advances the runners, executes that. And now with 2 down, Falby trotting back to the dugout. Here's Taylor Shoemaker.
21 home runs on the year, 0 for on the day.
She's been productive in the postseason, driving in 7.
She leads this team in RBIs, 17 doubles on the year. I mean, just gap to gap, line to line power.
She's closing in the Florida single season career ranks for home runs and RBI on the season.
Described as one of the most composed in this starting lineup.
And we mentioned this earlier, but it's worth repeating again. One of the top 3 finalists for NFCA Freshman of the Year. That was announced Thursday. A pair of players in the SEC with Andre Vandergrift over at Alabama. Riley McCoy, who is out with an injury for Oregon, didn't play last night. And a good moment here for Shoemaker. She pulls it over to second base. And again, missed opportunities here for Florida. 2 left on, nothing pushed across. Georgia still on top. Now, Florida head coach Tim Walton. And coach, what do you want to see your bats do against the arm of Lily Backus moving forward?
Yeah, we just got to do a better job in the zone, you know, whether it's swinging better pitches in the zone or take better pitches out of the zone. I think that's just going to be the key for us. Had a couple leadoff ons. We just got to do a little better job executing.
Coach, you got one of the best catchers in the nation on this squad and one of the most impressive tags I've ever seen at the plate. What makes Jocelyn Erickson such a competitor for you on this field?
Yeah, just her flexibility. You know, we've been beaten on that play quite a few times. Left-handed catchers obviously disadvantage on that play and that play alone. And so she's just worked really hard on trying to get a little bit better, more flexible. You saw her turn the backside to the field, which isn't very common, and she found a way to, you know, scoop down and sink to the edge of the plate. Really, really, really good play, and I'll give her all that credit. Just tired of getting beat on that right field side tag play. So, yeah, that's all Jossie.
She's a stud.
She is. Thank you. Go Gators.
Let's refer back to what he's talking about exactly. The relay from Williams to Erickson.
Look at that. You heard him mention it. She turns her back to the field, takes her eyes off the runner to keep that extra insurance run off the board for Georgia. I mean, that is a big-time play at home plate.
Well, Erickson has been phenomenal throughout. I mean, she's been complimented by her coach, Tim Walton, more times than once as leadoff base hit for Emily Digby. And now she's going to be on the receiving end of Kara Hammock's pitches, the senior who transferred in this season. And out of the Commonwealth of Virginia, 61 innings pitched thus far. And now she's going to try to tame this Georgia offense. And instead, on the bunt attempt that was shown from Marissa Miller, she's hit by pitch and takes first base. Well, here's this week's Sunday Night Baseball matchup, the series finale between Dodgers and the Mets, 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our baseball tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, starts off at 6 Eastern. So 2 runners aboard, no outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Georgia already with a 2-run advantage, and they are trying to push for a Game 3 tomorrow here against the 3-seed Florida Gators. Florida, mind you, is just 1 win away from the Women's College World Series.
The first strikeout collected for Florida pitching. Drop ball low in the zone. Castori trying to fish for this under the knees, unsuccessful, and Hammock gets her first strikeout. The movement, I mean, making the ball dance right at the knees, getting some nice swing throughs, big commitment from Georgia. This is a UNCW transfer, had a 17-6 record there, 4th lowest in the CAA, 1.6 ERA. There's a lot of experience in this senior arm.
And a quick meeting from Tony Baldwin, huddling up his batters as they've got a great opportunity here to try to take down these Florida Gators, and you see Tim Walton using this time as well. Great relationship and friendship between these 2 head coaches. Spent time with the women's national team on staff as assistants. They also roomed together throughout their coaching experiences.
Known as room dogs.
Room
That's
dogs.
what they call each other.
And right now the dogs out of Athens trying to bark a little bit louder and add more to this 2-run lead. The 0-2 from Hammock, the chopper, and playing back and making the play at second. Holtorf to Williams. And now 2 out and runners at the corners.
This now rolls the lineup over back to Dallas Goodnight. I gotta tell you, my intuition for this game tells me that if Georgia's gonna walk away with this game too, they're gonna have to put at least 1 more insurance run up on the board. Facing a team like Florida, it feels like it's a ticking time bomb right now for their offense. And this is now the 3rd time through the order for the Bulldogs, and an opportunity to add another run on the board. Without that excellent tag from Jocelyn Erickson, this would be a 3-0 ball game. And the importance of that insurance, I think, now more than ever for Georgia.
And after that, a timeout. You see Goodnight and Digby having a quick conversation. And Dallas Goodnight with a chance to tack on some insurance. Digby 60 feet from home. The pitch outside from Hammock for ball 1. That sliced foul. Goodnight, who had a solo shot last weekend, has got the power to drive it out the park. And this one lifted into the air, and underneath it is Falby. And that ends the inning. So a couple of runners left. Those who continue to fight cancer, especially pediatric cancer, is kept alive here as Jocelyn Erickson lifts this one in to left. And so you see the sunflowers, and the hair of the players, and they've got a whole area on the concourse dedicated to Sunflower Sunday. And Francesca Anea, Gator Hall of Famer, played from 07 to 2010, really found the connection with the community and finding a way to have this Gator program do even more. So the Friends of Jacqueline, and she was just a community-minded individual and said, hey, Coach Walton, would you be open to this? She connected with Heather, as did her team, and they used this platform to amplify pediatric cancer awareness. The backhand couldn't be handled from Digby at shortstop, so Reagan Walsh is aboard with one out.
Well, right now for Florida, something has to develop. This is a game of momentum. Florida understands that nuance, a team that has really relied and utilized the long ball all season long, especially in the postseason, averaging 2 home runs through tournament play, and we have not seen it here in game 2. So what's it going to take? Well, it's going to take a hard hit just like that from Reagan Walsh. Simplify this game.
Brings up Mia Williams, who has taken some hacks at the pitches thrown out of the hand of Lily Backus. And credit Backus for the job that she has done thus far. Pitched 4 scoreless innings for the Bulldogs.
It's been that off-speed pitch. It was strike 1 there against Mia Williams. She's had to kind of chew her way through the strike zone, specifically with that pitch. The off-speed curve and the changeup at the knees. When it's been in the strike zone, Florida has not had an answer for it. And that was a pitch and a speed that was missing yesterday, in my opinion. Florida just did not see a lot of pitches thrown that were disruptive to timing.
And chopped over the head of Mua Williams, a leaping Mua Williams at third, but thrown out. Jaden Goodwin with the throw to get the pinch runner Kylie Shaw out at third base, and Tim Walton immediately goes over to the third base umpire, Brian Crochet, right in front of him, and we may see a challenge here.
High chopper off the bat of Mia Williams. I gotta tell you, this is a bold choice from Reagan Walsh to take an extra 60 feet. Excuse me, Kylie Shaw coming into pinch run. You're in scoring position. If you stop at second base, you're in scoring position. That ball is in front of you. You see exactly where it is on the field, and the difference of standing at second versus third, that run means nothing. You're down 2. Again, a risky choice there for Kylie Shaw, pinch running there for Reagan Walsh.
Gutsy call here as this is being challenged. The call on the field was out. Does she touch the base in time? I'll tell you, it looks very close. It looked like that fingertip may have snuck in there before the tag.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may get overturned. I mean, there was zero hesitation from Tim Walton standing at third base. Immediately after the call is made, he throws the hands right up to the ears, asking for replay footage.
Now understand this. In going through this review, they have to have conclusive evidence to overturn the call on the field. Is it indisputable evidence?
Right.
Is it conclusive right there in your mind after that super slow-mo, Aaron?
I think yes.
Okay.
I do. Call on the field is out, but looking at that footage, to me it looks like the hand of Kylie Shaw gets in there before the tag is applied. And what a shift this would be for
I was going to
Florida.
say that.
We've talked about momentum. It's been a fairly quiet game for the Gators at the plate.
And another look here. So it's probably right there where maybe the fingertip gets
Ow.
there, and it is close, folks. But this call, like you said, Aaron, so critical.
I mean, this really could be a huge make or break call for both of these teams. Georgia has escaped danger now twice. And Florida trying to capitalize something here with less than 2 outs. Man, this would be a big call for Florida if overturned.
If the Gators do get the call overturned, that would put Shaw 60 feet from home, Mia Williams, who advanced to second base, on the throw. So they would have 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out. Or if it's upheld for Georgia, they will have 2 outs and a runner at second.
And Ava Brown stepping up to the plate, who's 0 for 2 today, 2 strikeouts, but hit a 2-run shot yesterday in game 1.
And obviously, this is taking some time. The replay officials up in Pittsburgh going through and reviewing it, communicating it back here to our umpires on the field, and now we will await the final decision.
The ruling on the field has been changed to safe. That is Florida's first challenge.
Wow. Successful challenge for Tim Walton. You hear how the crowd erupts after that announcement, and immediately pitching coach Chelsea Wilkinson trotting out of the dugout along with JT D'Amico, who handles the defense, to talk about this pivotal moment.
I like this decision to pause the game. I think that this was, again, back to the nuance, the game within the game, the energy of our sport. In that moment, the call is overturned. You can feel it. It's visceral. The entire shift into the Florida Gator dugout, and Chelsea Wilkinson calling time just to put a pause on that energy. Have a word with Lily Backus, who has been phenomenal through almost 5 innings.
Well, she has held a team who has averaged 9 runs a game in this NCAA tournament to a goose egg on the board and trying to push for a game 3 tomorrow. Ava Brown, the sophomore, now standing in. 2 on, 1 out for Brown. She was phenomenal during the regionals. Super regionals, been a little bit different. I mean, you've got a game plus here. 0 for 2 today. And Backus readies, delivers the pitch. That one high. Ball 2.
She's got 11 home runs on the year. There's only 3 hitters in this starting 9 that have less than double-digit doubles. I mean, there is just so much scary pop for Florida. And I think that's why you see Lily Backus conservative around the strike zone. Not only is she facing a huge bat in Ava Brown, but you also can feel the momentum brewing for the Gators.
Well, she struck her out twice already. Kobe Ortiz, who has 2 singles or 2 hits today, now going to come up to the plate with a walk to Ava Brown.
Well, this is not an opportunity in a situation that Lily Backus hasn't worked her way out of already. We saw this back in the first inning, Tiffany. Bases loaded, less than 2 outs. And she found her way out of that jam. Florida has been 0 for 8 with runners on.
And we're going to see a pinch runner coming out. It's Cassidy McClellan, the sophomore, is going to trot over to first base for Ava Brown. So it's Brown at first. Excuse me, McClellan at first. Williams over at second. And then Kylie Shaw standing at third. Here we go, folks. Otis with one swing could help the Gators take a collective sigh of relief. Instead, remaining patient, taking the first two pitches from Backus.
It's a really good eye from Corby Otis. That is a pitch that has not been called all day. That is knowing the game, knowing the strike zone.
Corby Otis sends this one into center field to the warning track. Goodnight is there, the sacrifice fly from Corby Otis, and the Gators are on the board. So now the lead cut in half. And this one almost was a grand salami.
I gotta tell you, I think back to the call overturned at third base. If that call doesn't fall in the way of Florida, they're out of this inning right now. That's a massive change that allows for that RBI sac fly for Corby Otis.
The game tying run at third base, Kinley Cahalan standing in the batter's box for the Gators. Cahalan, who picked up a single her last time up against Backus.
It's hard for me to even fathom now a time where that wasn't even an element within our sport, to get those calls right. The change that has made in our game.
Good defense there from Emma Castori, the unassisted 3U, and getting out of the inning, but not before last time up. And again, you know, hanging tight to this one-run lead. They would love to get some extra insurance. They had an opportunity last inning. And Davis pulls it over to second base, one down as we send it over to the studio.
Number 4, Tyler Ellison.
Well, thanks so much. Sharply hit off the bat over the third base, and Tyler Ellison goes down. So 2 up, 2 down thus far here back in Gainesville. Bottom of the 5th, Georgia leading 2-1.
How about Ashley Chastain in her first year with the Gamecocks? I had a chance to cover South Carolina early this year, and her goal in year 1 was just to get them to the middle of the pack in the SEC, maybe host a regional, and here they are 1 win away from punching their ticket to the Women's College World Series.
Ashley Chastain Woodard coming over from Charlotte. She brought 6 players from the 49ers into Columbia to suit up in a Gamecock uniform. And an amazing turnaround it has been for her at her alma mater.
It's crazy. Her husband, still the head baseball coach at Charlotte. They are doing long distance right now, 90 minutes apart.
And quick work in this inning for Kara Hammock. A 7-pitch inning for the Gators senior. We're moving to the 6th. Marjorie Kennedy, a pinch hitter up at the plate for the Gators. And Gabby Comia, 1 ball and 1 strike to the freshman out of St. John, Indiana. Well, Florida, the visitors on the scoreboard today, the teams flip-flop here. in game 2. They've got 6 outs to work with. Trailing by 1 and trying to advance on to the Women's College World Series, but Lily Backus and the Georgia Bulldogs have made it tough for the Gators all game long. She had to rise to the moment, and she has elevated her game so far today, Aaron.
That was what I could only describe as a disgusting changeup that got Comey out all the way out front onto that front side.
Returning to the top of the order, Kendra Falby, Mua Williams in great position to make the play, and out of the glove of Castori, and moving to second as the ball rolls out of Castori's grasp, and now Falby finds herself in scoring position. The wheels of Falby, and now the threat of the Gators hitters. Taylor Shoemaker coming to the plate. Another look at that last play.
You know, as this play developed, it appeared that there was going to be a close call at first base. But it's wide. And this is the pressure of the speed of Kendra Falby, is now you're forcing Mua Williams to make a rushed throw. It's offline, and it gives way for her to collect another 60 feet. Florida has had chances to tie up this ball game. Saw the bases loaded last inning. So we're going to get a look at the runner's lane here to see if this had any influence on the lack of a catch from Castori at first base.
So we saw Tim Walton use a challenge and be successful. Here, Tony Baldwin electing to use his first of 2 challenges. So the runner must stay within the lane during that last half of the run. And
there's the runner's lane right there. So it's that 3 feet to the right of the chalk line. Kendra Falby would have had to have entered that running lane to protect herself from being an interference with that catch at first base. So you can see how far she is into the field. Yeah, she does. It appears to me just at the end there, she enters into the running lane.
It was an interesting angle that she took because, as you said, she veered into or inside the line, and then at the last minute kind of went over into that runner's lane to touch the bag. Another look here. You see the angle start to take there.
Yes, I see that right foot touch into the runner's lane just before she crosses first base. I don't know that there's enough here to overturn the call, is my argument. This would have to be definitive for there to be a runner's lane violation.
But do you like the use of a challenge here from Tony Baldwin?
And it's one that, Tiffany, as you and I know, we've had many calls and discussions with umpire officials, both on our ESPN production calls as well as discussions in the booth. I mean, this has been one that I have seen pose a lot of issues with some teams, is the tight play at first base. We don't have the safety bag at first, which forces runners to really be in and out of that runner's lane.
After review, the call is upheld. There is no runner's lane violation. That is Georgia's first.
And I think that's the right call. It appeared to me that Kendra's right foot tapped into the runner's lane just before crossing first base. And furthermore, not enough evidence there to call her for a running lane violation. What a big moment here for Florida. 2 controversial replays that have fallen into the W column for the Gators.
Backus over 100 pitches, still throwing them in there for strikes. Southpaw going against the lefty bat of Taylor Shoemaker. 0 for 3 today, but has had a really good tournament going back to last weekend's regional play here.
Shoemaker looking for her first hit of the day. Came into this weekend, one of the hottest bats, the hottest bat for Florida, batting .571 with 3 bombs in NCAA play and is hitless in game 2.
See her 83 RBI, most by a freshman in a Florida uniform. The 1-2 from Backus. It's a piece of that one, stays alive.
She's hit 15 of her home runs against right-handed arms and only 6 of those against lefties.
You mentioned yesterday about the difference in lefty versus righty pitchers against this Florida lineup.
Yeah, the Skater team batting .277 against lefties, over .355 against right-handed arms, and that is exactly what Georgia has peppered them with. A lot out of the left side.
Shoemaker into left field, and 2 down. Falby stays put at second base. Florida 1 for 11 this afternoon with runners in scoring position. The fans from Athens who traveled here to Gainesville have loved the performance they've seen thus far from Lily Backus. The entire team effort, as Tony Baldwin told us back in the 4th inning. Right now, the Bulldogs are clicking. He said, hey, our record may have been one thing, but right now we're still one of the best teams and one of the last teams standing in the country. And his team 4 outs away from pushing a game 3. Backus and Miller have a quick chat, the battery for the Bulldogs, and Jocelyn Erickson, who we have talked about before. We saw her terrific Gold Glove ability behind the plate. And now with a 2-0 count, swings at this one. Foul near the Georgia bullpen. Erickson, I love how Tim Walton described her. Fatigued or not, she's going to give it all, her all. She's going to do whatever is necessary. What's necessary here is to try to come up with a base hit. Instead, she flies out to right. So Georgia once more moving on to the bottom of the 6th, up by fantastic Aaron Miller. I'm Tiffany Green, and it's been a delightful day here in Gainesville. Some excellent softball. We saw Keegan Rothrock start things off. Olivia Miller came in relief, and now Kara Hammock, who has done a nice job retiring these Georgia batters as we send it back to the studio.
Georgia number 22, Emily Digby.
Well, thanks so much, Matt. Back here, it's the Georgia Bulldogs looking to try to maybe tack on some insurance. We saw Emily Digby's ball flying to left field on the roof out there in left, and understanding that their season is on the line. If they win and hold on to this 2-1 lead, Georgia can force a game 3 tomorrow. Meanwhile, Florida's looking to make their 2nd consecutive trip to the Women's College World Series. They can come from behind.
16 super regional appearances for Florida. Just last season, went to the Women's College World Series for the 12th time, won its 6th SEC tournament championship. Both of these teams, postseason contenders. This is Georgia's 23rd consecutive NCAA appearance, 3rd straight super. Crazy to think that these two teams also did not face each other during SEC play. This is the first time that Georgia and Florida are going head to head.
The last time they met was back in 2024. Florida has taken every series since 2021, but we've mentioned already this weekend the great fortune that this Bulldog team has had in the Super Regional round, specifically here in Gainesville. They've met a couple of times at the Women's College World Series as well. But only one can advance and move on here this weekend.
The importance here for Georgia, another insurance run, my goodness. Thinking about who's coming to the plate for Florida next. It's the meat of their order. The home run hitting Reagan Walsh, Mia Williams, the home run hitting Ava Brown from yesterday. So much danger in the power category coming up to the plate for the Gators. Hammock in the circle too for Florida. What she's done, had a 1-2-3 inning in the 5th. Came in, got the first K of the game for Florida in the 4th. And has already taken care of quick business here in the 6th.
The 2-0 to Marissa Miller. That good for a strike. Hammock in a lone season with the Gators. Coming over from UNC Wilmington. And 3 ground balls, and Hammock has retired the last 8 batters for Georgia. Florida down to their final 3 outs to their 6th ever Women's College World Series. And right now, she's 3 outs away from forcing that decisive Game 3 tomorrow. That's my dance partner, Aaron Miller, Tiffany Green. Hey, Reagan Walsh at the plate. A couple of walks already here today. The question is, how would they pitch Reagan Walsh to start it off here in the top 7?
Well, she's had 2 walks, base hit in the 5th, and swinging early. Took a massive hack at the very first pitch that she saw.
Foul right back behind home plate. Reagan Walsh, the senior out of Redondo Beach, California. A player who just has been money and has gotten better and better throughout her career. She loves these postseason moments. And is delivered in multiple ways. We saw her do that yesterday. A 3-run homer to get the Gators on the board. And here the 1-2, stretches out, hits Backus. Ball deadens, and Reagan Walsh is going to round second base off the errant throw to first. And for a second, it looked like that one just stunned Backus. I'm sure that didn't feel too good in the process. And then the throw to first gets past the glove.
There's a lot to unpack here. First, got to make sure Lily Backus is okay. This hits her on the shoulder. But you're right, stuns her. a lot of things, again, to unpack. I think the first part of this is the contact of Reagan Walsh, described from Tim Walton to be one of the best bats on this team to rise to the occasion when pressure is starting to mount. And take a look at this pitch location, Tiffany. That is in the other batter's box. That immediately caught my eye when I saw contact made. The fact that she had to physically throw the barrel at that pitch and still made such solid contact up the middle of this field. I hate to see that it made that contact with Lily Backus. Looks like she is up and moving around. Good to see, but my goodness, two impressive plays here. One, the contact, and two, the resilience of Lily Backus in the circle.
Yeah, hitting her in that upper right part near her shoulder. So she took a couple of test pitches. More importantly, now this is a situation where we've seen Florida be in before. Have runners on, have runners in scoring position. Brooke Barnard comes in as the pinch runner for Reagan Walsh. And the Gators have yet to be, very successful when they've had ducks on the pond. They've left them there. They're 1 for 11.
This is the third time they've had the leadoff on. None of those leadoffs have come around to score, not a single one. 11 runners left on base.
Inside for ball 2 to Mia Williams.
This is now the fourth time through the order. Lily Backus having to continue to find ways to surprise these Gators.
And Williams trying to lay down the bunt. The sack bunt rolls foul.
Two bunt attempts now from the Gators, both unsuccessful. One of those first coming from Holtorf earlier in this game, popped it up to Mua Williams at third, and then now Mia Williams. Not to get confused with Mua Williams.
Right.
Goes foul.
You did that well, partner. Great pitch there from Backus, called for ball 3. Let's get another look at that because, again,
wow,
it's been like that all day.
It's been frustrating for Lily Backus. This is an off-speed pitch, maybe high, but competitive location.
And now the walk to Mia Williams. 2 on, no outs. And Lily Backus, who has found ways all game long to get out of jams against these Florida Gators. But with the home run hitting power of Ava Brown coming up to the plate. This is what she did yesterday, folks.
Up and out of the strike zone and still finds a way to take this ball to the deepest part of the field. That was a 2-run shot. Where Florida has done damage in game 1 and this weekend has been with the free passes awarded before the big bomb. And it's setting up to potentially be that. A single, a walk awarded, and now an 0 for 2 day from Ava Brown, but a dangerous home run hitter. 11 bombs on the year.
Game tying run standing at second. Go ahead over at first. Eva Brown readies for the first pitch, takes it in high for ball 1.
3 of those 11 bombs coming in the last 4 games.
That's great. I mean, wow. Stretch it out over 11 games, 7 home runs.
Paints
Eva
the picture.
Brown
Yeah.
is going to take her time here. I mean, we saw Florida take aggressive cuts early on when they were in these positions in the first, second, third innings. Now, being all the more patient here at the plate.
And this is what's on the line. One swing, one run to tie up this ball game puts Florida in a position to punch a ticket to Women's College World Series. Georgia needing to win this game to extend their season to Game 3 tomorrow.
The pressure, palpable. This one
Right back to us.
yep, off the net. And Ava Brown will get another crack here. Looking now with full count. Keegan Rothrock, who started off this game, delivered a victory in Game 1. Lily Backus has had a superb performance here. And gets the strikeout. Big time K for Backus. First out of the inning.
8 strikeouts for Lily Backus. Just mesmerizing to see her slice through the zone. What she has done with her back against the wall in pressure-filled situations has been so impressive to watch.
And now they're going to give it lefty to lefty. Backus hands the ball over to Randy Rolling. And now Rolling will try to close out the Gators here in Game 2. What a job Lily Backus did here today.
8 strikeouts, over 120 pitches thrown, 127 to be exact. She gives up the ball to Rolling, her fellow lefty on this team. And, you know, you and I had a chance to cover Georgia earlier this year, and talking to Tony Baldwin, one of the things that he had challenged these two arms, both lefties, is that they needed to look different from each other. That was something that Chelsea Wilkinson had been working with these two young women in the bullpen.
This combo meal's got combinations. Make this thing your own creation. Entree, drink, and choice of sides. Oh, and it's free to swap fries. Big.
2 Florida batters to push for a Game 3. Her numbers on yesterday: pitched 4 in the 3rd inning, gave up 6 earned runs, walked 6 in the process. But now, a much different scenario and situation for the sophomore lefty. She'll face Corby Otis. Otis, who doubled back in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, and then drove in the lone run of the game for the Gators thus far with the RBI sac fly back in the 5th. Rolling with the pitch. Otis sends this one into center field. Goodnight is there, and tagging up are both runners, so Gators now have 2 in scoring position, but down to their final out of the game. So allowed out by Otis, and Kinley Cahalan is the last chance for the Gators here.
All comes down to this Alabama transfer. Her junior season now here at Florida.
First pitch swinging. Calling forward is Tyler Ellison, and we're moving on to a game 3 as Georgia holds on to win 2-1. The Bulldogs came out scrappy. They were fighting. They did not give up. They had a phenomenal performance from Lily Backus in the circle. Couple of